Hi everyone, this is Dami Pelaz and I'm going to be going over punishment. I am with ABA Exam Academy. I'm very happy to be here. Have a few people with me and we are going to have a lot of fun. All right, so as you all know, we are having courses. So this is our schedule for the upcoming courses for the rest of the summer. Our next course is going to be Wednesday, July 8th from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and it's going to be on experimental design, which is section B of the task list B of the BCBA 4th edition task list. The course comes with, it is a 2-hour course. The instructor is a BCABA, and then I am on there on the chat assisting anybody with any questions that they might have while the instructor is teaching. There are also, we give a 25-question mini-mock before the course begins. You guys answer them as best as you can, and then we go over the explanations as well as all the concepts that are on the section that we're going over. And then lastly, we give a, through email, we send a supplemental study guide, which is the presentation in a PDF format, will also be sent to you. So all of this is included in the package for the course you are getting. So if you are interested, just make sure to go to the website, abaexamacademy.com/shop. All right, so our disclaimer is we are a few credentialed providers that work together to help others ace the test. The meetings that we have are to have active discussions, to collaborate, ask questions, and provide helpful suggestions to better understand the BACB 4th edition task list concepts. However, all of the viewers that are watching us are responsible to verify the accuracy of the information that's being provided in order to successfully prepare for the BCBA, BCABA exam. Some ethical considerations we do have for everyone is we like to refrain from sharing any BCBA test questions, any paid resources, specific identifiable client information, and if you are sharing any open resources, make sure to give credit to the author. My references for today has been Cooper, the Cooper 2nd edition book, and it's specifically chapters 14 and 15. All of chapter 14 and 15, I have been all over those 2 chapters. So just go to those 2 chapters if you have any questions about the information I gave. All right, so for the agenda for today is we're gonna go in this order. First, I'm gonna go over some AKAs that have to do with punishment. So I'm gonna quiz you guys on that. We're gonna review punishment, positive punishment, and negative punishment. And then after that, I'm gonna test your knowledge a little bit more on specifics when it comes to those topics. And then finally, we're gonna go over, I think it's like 6 mock questions. All right, so are you guys ready?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, I wanna hear some voices. All right, so like I said, do you know your AKAs? Let's see. I'm gonna read the ones on the left and you guys are gonna match them with the ones on the right. So let's go for it. Type 2 punishment.
Negative punishment.
Does everyone agree?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Yes, correct. Nice job, Carol. Type 1 punishment.
Positive.
Positive punishment.
Positive.
Very good, everyone. All right, S, and then I couldn't do a little d and then a minus. So I just tried my best. What is that? SD minus.
Punishment.
Punishment.
Very, very good. Primary punishers.
Unconditioned.
Punishers.
Unconditioned
Punishers.
or conditioned?
Unconditioned.
Unconditioned, okay. Correct. How about learned punishers? What is that?
Conditioned.
Condition. Great job. And the last one, generalized condition punishers is?
Generalized.
Conditioned.
Generalized punishers. Wow, guys, you guys did great on AKs. You guys are studying. Good job. All right, so now we're going to review punishment. Okay, like I said, it's in that order. First punishment, then positive punishment, and then negative punishment. All right, so like I said, it's chapter 14 and 15 of the Cooper second edition ABA book. The first thing we're going to talk about is basically what is punishment. I'm going to give that to you because most of us, we should know what it is. So punishment is a response that is immediately followed by a stimulus that decreases the future frequency of behavior. And that's big. It's always going to decrease future frequency of a behavior, not increase, because if we increase, what is it?
Reinforcement.
Reinforcement. Good job. All right, so what happens when punishment is stopped? So if we do an intervention and then we stop punishment, let's say in our intervention punishment, we're using punishment and we just stop, what happens? Do you guys know?
The target behavior returns to baseline or above.
Great job, Carol. That's exactly what I wrote. Perfect. All right, so she said it. The effects on the behavior are not permanent and may reoccur. It will increase back to its original rate or more. So it could become worse. A perfect example of that is like if you're trying to lose weight and you're exercising, and then all of a sudden you know something might happen that it becomes a punishment. So then you gain the weight, you stop doing exercise, you might not even go outside, and then you gain the weight and you gain it more than what you started with. So most likely when that occurs is because there was some type of punishment, most likely getting away from not eating the food you liked or something like that, that could have caused a punishment. So when we're trying to lose weight, what should we be using? Reinforcement, correct? Does everyone hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, cool. All right, so what is the difference between a punisher and an aversive stimulus? There is a difference. What is the difference?
An aversive stimulus is a unpleasant stimulus. It's not necessarily identified that it has decreased the behavior, whereas a punisher is definitely has identified that the target behaviors have decreased.
Correct. So the way I look at that is kind of like when we're doing a preference assessment versus a reinforcer assessment. When we do a preference assessment, we are trying to figure out what could be a reinforcer. Then when we do a reinforcer assessment, we're actually confirming that. Well, it's the same thing here. An aversive stimulus, like Carol said, is something that is aversive, but it's not specifically a punisher, okay? It might not have that punishing effect in the moment, but it is something that's aversive. So the definition that I found is a punisher actually decreases the future frequency of the behavior, and an aversive stimulus is just an unpleasant stimulus. All right, so does anybody know some unwanted effects of punishment? Just throw them out if you know them.
Extinction burst.
That's not punishment, that's extinction.
You're right. I'm sorry. You said-
High rates of aggression
Aggression.
There's some types of aggression, right?
or emotional responses.
Yes, emotional responses is one of them. Anyone else before I give them out? All right, so there's a whole list of them. Here I go. Number one is people enacting punishment procedure may be negatively reinforced by their behavior. So anyone that's involved might have that negative, it's gonna have that negative reinforcement because of that. Another thing that happens too is does not address the cause of the challenging behavior. It does not. And then it has that, like you guys mentioned, emotional and aggressive reactions may be produced. Escape and avoidance, that's huge. So escape and avoidance for the people or even a specific setting. I had a situation with my son where I took him to swimming classes when he was very, very little. And then whenever we would get close to the pool area, even if I was going to the park or I was going somewhere nearby, he would already start crying in the car. So that is just avoidance. He's just trying to avoid going to the pool. Number 5 is requires consistent supervision, resources, and time. So like we know, we always try to use reinforcement instead of punishment. And because punishment has all these unwanted effects and all of these things that are sometimes unethical and dangerous, then we have to consistently give supervision, resources, and time. And then the last one is behavioral contrast. I don't know if anybody wants to talk about behavioral contrast, but that's a different section of the task list. So I don't know. Does anybody want to explain behavioral contrast really quick?
Behavior contrast can happen with reinforcement, punishment, and extinction. And it occurs in the setting or the condition that is not being treated. So for instance, if you're implementing a program at the mom's house and they're divorced and you're using a punisher in that setting, then we might see the behavior increase in the dad's house where it's not being implemented. Is that clear?
Yes, that was good. The biggest thing about behavioral contrast is like what Carol said, is the biggest, most important thing is that you're gonna see a shift in the same behavior. So there's gonna be an increase in one setting and a decrease in another setting. And it's usually because there's some intervention going on in one setting, and in the other one, it's gonna increase. Does everyone understand that?
Yes.
All right, awesome. All right, so then we're gonna move on to positive punishment. What is positive punishment? How is it different?
When you're adding a stimulus instead of taking away a stimulus, that decreases the behavior.
Perfect, you said it. Okay, so it is a process that occurs when the addition, that's the most important part. The addition of a stimulus immediately follows a behavior which, like we said in punishment, results in a decrease in the future frequency of the behavior. And then when we talk about positive punishment, there are 5 different types. Does anyone know those 5 types?
Yes. Shock, overcorrection, reprimands, response blocking, and exercise.
Perfect. You said it. Shock, overcorrection, exercise, response blocking, and reprimands. Very good. Great job. Is this Ronika?
Yes.
Nice job, Ronika. All right, we're gonna move on to negative punishment now. All right, so different from positive punishment, what is negative punishment? Anyone want to volunteer? We talked about positive punishment being the addition. So what is negative?
You remove this.
Removal.
Removal. Perfect. So it is a process that occurs when a response is followed immediately by the removal or decrease. That's important too. So it could be a removal or a decrease of a stimulus that decreases the future frequency of a similar response under similar conditions. Okay, so what are the 2 negative punishment procedures? There's only 2.
Escape.
I'm sorry?
Escape.
Escape? No, let's try again.
Timeout.
Don't say that.
And
So timeout?
Yep, and
Yep.
response cost.
Response cost and timeout. Very good. All right, so I have a little tiny chart here just to get you guys organized when it comes to that. Response cost and timeout. Within response cost and timeout, we have 2 under the umbrella of response cost and 2 under the umbrella of timeout. What are those? Let's do response cost first.
Is bonus response cost a part of that?
Yes, ma'am.
Um,
Direct cost.
Direct what? It's not direct costs.
Direct something.
Fine.
Direct fines.
Thank
There
you.
go. You got the idea. We're working together here. Bonus response cost and direct fines. Perfect. And then timeout has two. What are those?
Exclusionally
Yes.
and
And
non-exclusionally.
nice. Woo! Good job, guys. All right, so now we're going to test your knowledge. Okay? This is a little bit more interactive. Okay, I'm going to escape for this one. Okay, what are the two types of overcorrection? Does anybody know? Two types of overcorrection.
Positive practice and restitutional.
Yes. By any chance, do you know the difference between them? Or does anybody want to help her?
I think I know the differences.
Okay.
Restitutional, I can give an example.
Okay, go for it. Go for it.
So your client writes on a wall with the marker. So you have your client to clean a wall and also clean a floor.
Okay, that one's which one? What's that one?
Restitutional.
Okay, good.
And positive practice is if someone misspells a word, you have them rewrite it about 30 times.
Okay, so you said everything perfectly fine, but at the end of positive practice, it could be either 30 times or 30 minutes. Okay. The biggest thing with that is it's either time or a number. So you can say, Johnny, you're going to write your name for 5 minutes, or you're going to write your name 5 times. So it can be either or. All right, so the two types like she mentioned, restitutional and positive practice. And then restitutional is a way to repair the environment to its original state, and we're gonna make it better. And then positive practice, like she mentioned with her example, is an individual is required to repeatedly perform a correct form of the behavior using time or number. Okay, and that's important because let's say you get a mock exam or maybe in the real exam and they ask you that, oh, it's 30 minutes instead of writing 30 times, then you might be like, uh-oh, am I putting the right answer? But it is either or. All right, so we have these are the two different types. We have reprimand and we have overcorrection, right? What is overcorrection? I'm going to read it and you guys are going to tell me if it goes under overcorrection or if it goes under reprimand. The individual is required to engage in effortful behavior that is related to the challenging behavior.
Overcorrection.
Great job, yes. And then scolding or yelling at the individual. Examples, no or stop.
Reprimand.
Reprimand, nice. All right, next we're going to talk about shock, exercise, and response blocking. Okay, I'm going to read them from left to right and you guys tell me where to put them. An individual is required to perform an exercise not related to the behavior. Runs 5 laps, for example.
Exercise.
Yes. So if a karate teacher is working with a class and little Johnny is talking to the friend next to him and he says, hey, you're talking in my class, so you guys have to run 5 laps. That's exercise. That's a form of punishment. All right. Physically intervene by blocking as soon as the individual begins to engage in the challenging behavior. What is that?
Response
blocking.
Nice job. And the last one, administer a shock after an individual's behavior.
Shock.
And I don't know, guys, if they did this back in the day, but you know what? I have seen this on pets, on dogs, those collars that when the dogs bark, they shock them. And that is a perfect example of what that would be, shock. It is a form of punishment to punish the dog's behavior of barking. Does anybody have an example? I mean, a question before I move on?
No, thank you.
No.
Okay, then we're gonna go over really quick bonus response cost and direct fines. All right, so we're gonna do the same thing. First, I'm gonna say, what is a response cost? It is a loss of specific amount of reinforcement contingent on a behavior. Okay, so we're losing something because something occurred, and that's why we're losing it, okay? So direct loss of positive reinforcers, when an individual loses some time away from the reinforcer. Which one is it, direct fines or bonus response cost?
Direct fine.
Direct fines.
Yes. And then the other one is an additional non-contingent reinforcer is available to the client and then removed.
Bonus response.
Okay. Does anyone know the biggest difference between both of these?
For bonus, I always look for the additional, something extra is taken away.
Perfect. That's exactly what I was looking for. So the main word here between both of these is additional. Okay. This is something that is added that normally doesn't happen. So let's say you usually take your kids to the park for 30 minutes. And then tomorrow you have extra time. So you tell them, you know what? We're going to go for 40 minutes. Those extra 10 minutes is a bonus time that you're giving them. But let's say your son hits your daughter. So you say, no, we're leaving early. We're leaving, we're losing those 10 minutes because you hit your sister. That's a bonus response cost. You're taking away the 10 minutes that you gave them extra. You're not taking away the original time. You're just taking away the added time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so does everyone understand that?
Yes.
All right, awesome. Yeah. All right, so the last section before I go over the mock questions is non-exclusionary and exclusionary timeout. All right, so what is the difference between non-exclusionary and exclusionary timeout? In non-exclusionary, the individual is not removed from the space, and in exclusionary, the individual is removed from the space. When we talk about that, we're basically saying, let's say in a classroom. In exclusionary, we're gonna take them out of the classroom. And in non-exclusionary, we're gonna leave them in a classroom. I've had the situation where you're in PE, for example, and a student is acting out. The PE teacher gets upset and says, you're gonna sit in timeout. Well, but they're sitting there watching their class having fun. Would that be exclusionary or non-exclusionary?
Non-exclusionary.
Correct, because they're watching, they're there, they're sitting there. Now if the PE coach says, you need to sit in the hallway, then that would be exclusionary because you're getting them out. They cannot watch their friends have fun. They cannot sit there. So that's where the difference falls. And another thing is said in the Cooper book is said, non-exclusionary is always preferred because they are less restrictive. Sometimes non-exclusionary works, sometimes it doesn't. So it really depends, but they say it is more preferred because it's less restrictive. All right, so let's see which one falls under non-exclusionary and which one falls under exclusionary. For timeout room, let's think about it. For timeout room, is that exclusionary or non-exclusionary?
Exclusionary.
Exclusionary.
Good, because you're putting them into a room that's not the original place. How about planned ignoring?
Non-exclusionary.
Non-exclusionary.
Partition timeout.
Non-exclusionary.
Exclusionary.
I would say exclusionary, but I don't know.
Petition. I'm thinking petition. Not sure.
All right, let's keep going and we'll leave that one because you guys are back and forth, so we'll discuss it. Withdrawal of specific positive reinforcer.
Non-exclusionary.
Does everyone agree?
Yes.
Non-exclusionary. All right, timeout ribbon.
Non-exclusionary.
Correct. How about observation?
Non-exclusionary.
And how about hallway timeout?
Exclusionary.
Okay, and then we have partition.
Exclusionary.
Exclusionary.
Correct, yes. So we are, it is 3 under exclusionary and 4 under non-exclusionary. Nice job, guys. All right, so are you guys ready for some mock questions?
Yes.
Yes.
Awesome. All right, Johnny stops engaging in a behavior when his mother threatens him. What does that threat function as? A, discriminative stimulus, B, punisher, C, reinforcer, or D, motivating operation?
B. Not sure.
You said D as in dog,
As in boy.
B as in boy, okay. Carol, you said something?
I want to say A.
A, okay. Ascari, you said something else?
E.
D as in dog?
No, as in boy.
As in boy, okay.
B.
B, wow, okay. So we have 3 for B, 1 for A. Anybody else? All right. You guys ready for the answer?
Yes.
Go for it.
Not what you guys expected. Whoops. All right,
Whoa.
so
Wow.
it is motivating operation. Okay, so it says here, Johnny stops engaging in a behavior. So he stops. He actually does stop when his mother threatens him. So it isn't, even though it's a threat, it worked, okay? What does that threat function as? It functioned as an MO, and this comes straight from Cooper, because that MO, what's happening is evoking the alternative behavior to avoid the punishment. So because that's being told, even though the punishment didn't happen, there's an MO there that he doesn't want to get punished. You understand? Is that clear to everyone?
Yes.
An MO says it either makes the reinforcer more valuable
Right,
or decreases that, or,
Right.
or it has behavioral approach to it,
right,
behavior function to it.
right.
I still don't get why that's a threat. I was thinking, oh, okay, the question was a threat function as versus the mother.
Yeah, no, it's a threat.
Okay.
Yeah. So here we're looking specifically at what the threat functions, like what's the function of the threat?
So it would be an abolishing operation, correct?
Yes, because we're trying to get rid of the punishment that's coming if he continues to engage in that behavior. So he's
Okay.
trying to avoid that.
Thank you.
Yep, no problem. But you guys did good. This was a hard question. You guys did good. All right, which of the following is not a type of positive punishment? A, response cost, B, overcorrection, C, response blocking, or D, contingent electrical stimulation?
A.
A,
A.
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 Yeah.
it is A, nice job. So it is a negation question. I think you guys picked up on that. Really good. And then response cost is the only one that falls under the umbrella of negative punishment. So all the other ones are positive punishment. Very good. Next question. Jen is a BCBA working in a school. The teacher she is currently working with prefers to use a less restrictive timeout procedure with Jen's client. Jen can use all of the following except A, contingent observation, B, hallway timeout, C, planned ignoring, or D, timeout ribbon.
B.
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 All right, you guys are cohesive. Very good. All right, it is an accept question, negation. We're looking at non-exclusionary timeout procedures. They're less restrictive and preferred. So that's the biggest thing here. I did not write anything about non-exclusionary. I just wrote less restrictive timeout. So if you know what it is, you know it is non-exclusionary. Very good. Hallway timeout. All right, Michael is a BCBA working with a teacher that is using a timeout ribbon procedure with his client. After using it for a week, Michael returns to follow up and notices that the ribbon is off the client's wrist. What does this mean? A, the client can earn reinforcement. B, the client will lose time from reinforcement. C, the client cannot earn reinforcement. Or D, the client will get reprimanded by his teacher.
A.
C.
C.
2 C's, 1 A, and it is C. So the trick here is knowing that when the ribbon is off, you cannot earn the reinforcement. And when the ribbon is on, you could earn the reinforcement. Okay? All right, a mother went to the playground with her son. She decides to give him an extra 10 minutes than usual at the playground. Later, he hit his friend on the head and the mom removed the 10 minutes that she previously gave him. Which of the following best describes the above scenario? A, response cost. B, direct fine. C, bonus response cost. Or D, withdrawal of a specific positive reinforcer.
D. Oh, no, sorry, C.
C.
C, okay, C. Good, I like that you corrected yourself, that was good. All right, so yes, in a bonus response cost, you give an additional reinforcer and then take it away. Very good. Nice job, guys. You guys did it. Thank you so much for being part of my meeting. I hope you guys had fun. Take care, everyone. Go to the website if you need anything, abaexamacademy.com. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Good night.
Great job, Damie.
Thank you. Good night, guys.
Good night.
Good night.